Hello, YouTube friends and family. Happy Friday. We have entered February. So we're going to wake up one morning and 2023 will be gone. Just like that. I know I talk about that a lot, but I'm just struck by how quickly time seems to pass. I thought for a while when the shutdowns were happening, we were all stuck indoors and businesses were closed and you couldn't get out. I thought that when that ended, that is what made things feel like they were moving so fast because we were getting back out, mingling with people, going to work every day. But I don't know that that's the case because we've been back to quote unquote normal now for a while. And it just still feels like it's getting faster and faster all the time. So our first guest for today will be with me for the second half of the show. So I am going to go over our channel stats, member channel updates, things like that. We'll do some trivia stuff. Did you know? I have some new things besides what I've been pulling from the one Did You Know page that I typically use. Hello, P-Hop. How are you? And I just remembered I need to pull up my On This Day page because that one does give us some interesting facts. So let me pull that up. And I'll tell you first, let's go to, I'm going to share this screen if I can find it. Oh, where did that go? Okay, so let's just share a picture. This was, I thought, very interesting. This is in the Did You Know category of things. So let me pull this up and share my screen and talk to you a little bit about eagles. I know you guys hear me talk about eagles from time to time. They are very interesting to me, and I think we can learn a lot from them. So let's pull this up and share this. Let me go here, make that a little bit bigger. Hello, Lee at First Floor Audio. How are you? Thanks for being here today. Just going to share this interesting information that I learned about eagles from the National Eagle Center. When you look at a bald eagle, your first thought likely isn't about how much you have in common with each other. They have feathers and fly, are much smaller in size, and have super sharp talons. They seem pretty different for sure. But when your gazes lock and you stare into each other's eyes, it may surprise you to know that a bald eagle's eyes are the same size as yours. It's true, they have human-sized eyeballs placed inside a much smaller skull, which leaves very little room for much else. In fact, there isn't even room for muscles around their eyes to allow an eagle to move them up and down or side to side like we can. Their eyes are fixed in place. To compensate, they have twice as many neck vertebrae that allow them to turn their neck much further in both directions. But in order for an eagle to look at something not directly in front of them, they must turn their whole head. Well, except for that second focal point in each eye, called a fovea, that sits at a 45-degree angle, but that's another lesson for another day. So I didn't look into the fovea. Maybe I will share that with you in another live stream. But I just thought that was very, very interesting. And I haven't had a chance to do much eagle live stream watching today. But I know the next time I watch, I'm going to be looking to see that. I watch them so much, and I never even noticed that they don't move their eyes side to side or up and down. So that's really interesting to me. I just want to share that with you guys because I continue to be amazed and just astounded at eagles. Animals in general, I love animals, but eagles are very, very interesting. Hello, Vicki Lund, Dr. Lund, Psychology Noir with Dr. Lund. How are you? Thank you for being here. Hello, Dogface. It's good to see you today. Happy Friday. Are you in Saturday already, Dogface? You're in Saturday already, aren't you? So happy weekend. Happy Saturday to you. I'll tell you about my backdrop. Two of the reasons for the backdrop. It's been frigidly cold here for us. I know some of you live in places where it's sub-zero without a wind chill and you get 10 feet of snow from time to time, and that's not us. But because this is not typical for us, I'm calling it frigid. We were below freezing most of the week. Today's been the first day that we're above freezing. So we were at 32 degrees this morning, I think about 7:45, just before 8 o'clock when I went out to feed the ducks. The water was still pretty frozen. I just topped off with hot water like I usually do. And I've been out to check, and everything is thawing nicely. The unnice part about that is that it means mud. So we've got lots of slush and mud and puddles from all the ice that accumulated that is now melting. Our sniff spot is always closed on Fridays anyway, because I am doing so many things to get ready for the stream that I don't want to have to squeeze in time also to go and scoop the paddock and get it prepared for a visitor. So I closed it for tomorrow as well, because there's no way this mud is going to be anywhere near what looks like dry. I'm still looking for here's the on this day page, I think. Oh, I thought I found this day page. Maybe not. But while we're waiting for me to find the on this day page, thanks again for everyone that's here today. Happy Friday. I hope you're safe and happy and well, and that the weather is not too harsh for you right now. I know it's winter for most of us that visit my channel. Hey, cousin Shopcat, thanks for being here. Yeah, we're above freezing today too, finally. It's been really, really cold here this week. I actually did turn our heater down 1 degree this morning, which it's amazing to me. Did you know if we run the heater at like 68 in the winter, we have electric bills that aren't, anything to stress about. But we turned the heater to 70 degrees when we had a cold spell last month, and we got that electric bill, $551. We have a 1,460 square foot house, not a big house. We have 8-foot ceilings, so there's not a lot of height for, heat to go up and make it where it can't keep us warm. Hello, Nina and Boyce at Rooted in Texas. How are you? I love seeing that new name in my chat. I love the rebranding. I just love what's happening with your channel, and I'm so excited to see where 2023 is going to take you with your new branding. So $551 electric bill. Now, we had like 3 of those in a row last summer because we had a drought. Texas had a record-breaking historic drought last year with unbelievably high temperatures for an extended period of time. And you can only take so many clothes off. So we tried to dress, comfortably in the house. Granted, it was cooler in the house than it was outside because we weren't in the sun, but we had a $600 electric bill a couple of months, and then like a $575 or $580 electric bill 1 month. I think when it started easing up, that next electric bill was like $480. But y'all, our electric bill is typically, in the winters before even, has been like $260. So we're just chasing our tails here so often. We'll feel like we're all caught up with everything, and then we get hit with some big unexpected bill like that. And I just don't get why it should be so expensive. Hello, M&T Living and Cooking. Thank you for being here today. I just went over a fun fact about eagle's eyes. So if you missed that part, you can go back and rewatch when the stream is over. Or what I do a lot of times when I go into a stream after it has started, I go back to the beginning. I set my playback speed to 1.5 times so that it'll play faster until it gets caught up with wherever the live stream is live. So check out that interesting eagle fact. Our guest for today is going to join me for the second half of the show. So she'll be coming up about 3 o'clock. So we're going to do all of the other Friday things we do in a stream while we wait for that visit to start. So I shared my eagle fact. For the Did You Knows this time, I wanted to share. It's still some Did You Knows, but this is standard sizes of everyday objects. So these will all be familiar to you. So all of these objects, you'll know what it is and you'll have the image in your mind when I tell you about it, but this is what the standards are as far as the sizes or what qualifies some of these things for that, for an official, whatever that object is. So the first one on the list, a standard soccer ball must measure between 27 and 28 inches in circumference and weigh 14 to 16 ounces. So I don't know if we have any soccer players here, or if you've got kids that play soccer. Two of my grandkids play soccer very well, as a matter of fact, but I never paid attention to the size of the ball. And when they first started playing, when they were, little bitty, they first started playing, it is a smaller ball. So I guess that's not officially, or that's not an official soccer ball, but like a soccer ball that a pro team would play in, or that's used in tournaments and things, has to meet that criteria. The proper size of a dinner napkin should be no less than 183 square inches unfolded. So when it's out flat in a square shape, it has to be no less than 183 square inches. A cocktail napkin, on the other hand, should be no larger than 100 square inches unfolded. Doesn't that sound big when you think about it? I mean, again, square inches, you're multiplying length by width. So I get it that number's going to seem big, even though the thing may not look big. But who knew a dinner napkin is technically supposed to be that big? For a rock to be considered a boulder, it must be at least 256 millimeters in diameter, which is 10.07 inches. So to be considered a boulder, it has to be at least 10.7 inches. I don't know that this is a good sense of scale. I'm going to say that's probably about 10 inches right there, huh? Yeah, I don't know how you can tell when I'm this far away from the camera. I guess I could have brought a ruler out. So that's when it can be considered a boulder, which is not the picture I had in my mind, right? All of you, did anybody, aren't you picturing a bigger, like what falls on the Wile E. Coyote in the cartoon? That's a boulder. For a rock to be considered a pebble, to me that's the opposite of a boulder. It must be no smaller than 4 millimeters, which is 0.16 inches, and no larger than 64 millimeters, which is 2.51 inches in diameter. So I guess in between, because the boulder has to be at least 10.7 inches, and a pebble cannot be bigger than 2.51 inches in diameter. So I guess anything in between is just a rock. Hey, Junkyard Gamer, how are you? The ice is melting, which is great, except that the backyard is just a slosh pit right now. So we've still got, some ice. There's lots of mud. There are lots of water puddles. The ducks and geese love it. The dogs even love it. I don't love it because it just means we have this track of mud and water coming into the house every time they come in after being outside. Hello, Bud Files. How are you? Thanks for being here today. Okay, so those were rocks and pebbles and napkins and soccer balls. All right, a bowling ball. Standard size of a bowling ball should be 27 inches in circumference, and it should weigh no more than 16 pounds. Hello, Mindfork. Takashi Chris, how are you? I don't know if any of you bowl. I can't imagine trying to roll a 16-pound anything down any sort of surface. Hello, David Hunt. How are you? Thanks for being here today. So I think when we go bowling, I'm always looking for whatever the lightest ball is I can find. If I can find an 8-pound ball or a 10-pound ball, that's about as much as I can handle. And then a bowling pin ought to weigh between a single bowling pin ought to weigh between 3 pounds 2 ounces and 3 pounds 10 ounces, and should be exactly 1 foot 3 inches tall. So I didn't know bowling pins were that heavy. Oh, excuse me. I've got my trusty concoction here again today. I firmly believe that along with just having allergy issues and stuff. When it's this cold, I think that contributes to some of this scratchiness I get in my throat. All right, so that was a bowling pin. For darts and dartboards, a dart cannot be more than 1 foot in length. That's encouraging. And it can't weigh more than 50 grams. I don't have a point of reference to know what 50 grams weighs. And a dart board must be hung so that the bullseye is 5 feet 8 inches above the floor. Who knew? The person throwing the dart must stand 7 feet 9 1/4 inches from the board. So I've played darts. I never paid attention to heights and distances. And I mean, usually when you go to some place where they have darts, there's the line that you're not supposed to cross to throw it. But I never thought about what that distance might be. A washcloth. A washcloth is supposed to be a square of cloth no smaller than 12 inches by 12 inches and no larger than 14 inches by 14 inches. And let me know in the chat how many of these that I've already read, some of you already knew, because I never really even thought about it. A compact car. A compact car, to be considered a compact car, it must weigh at least 3,000 pounds, but no more than 3,500 pounds. Still sounds really big, doesn't it? Size of a parachute. To slow a 200-pound person to a landing speed of 20 feet per second, a parachute must be 28 feet in diameter. A golf ball. A golf ball must weigh no more than 1.62 ounces with a diameter no less than 1.68 inches. A standard tee is 2 1/8 inches long. So I'm interested that it says that the diameter of a golf ball can be no less than 1.68 inches. What if it's bigger than 1.68 inches? Let's see. Let's see what. Here's Lee. Lee's got a comment here for us. Wow. Yeah. So for those who don't know, Lee has metal in his wrists. He's got pins and bars and all kinds of things in his wrists. His wrists have really had some $6 million man stuff done to him. Hello, Pete at Scratch and Pete. How are you? Hey, Carl. How are you, Carl? Hello, Michelle at Makeup Mom and Son. How are you? Thanks for being here today. So let's see what's next on the list. A king size mattress. To be considered a king size mattress, it should be no smaller than 80 inches long and 76 inches wide. And then a jumbo egg. Of course, this has me now wanting to collect some eggs. Our geese have been laying eggs, which I've been collecting every day and feeding to the dogs. I did make brownies with a goose egg. And what else did I make? I made a cake with goose eggs a couple of weeks ago. I just love cooking with duck and goose eggs. But again, a goose egg can be really big. I think it's like eagle egg size. So to be considered a jumbo egg, 1 dozen jumbo eggs should weigh no less than 30 ounces. So almost 2 pounds. What is that? 1.5 pounds? No. Am I not doing math right? Yeah. Almost 2 pounds. So I'm going to be seeing if I can hold on to, chicken flavored cake, goose flavored cake. Our eggs, again, people ask me from time to time, hello, Dancing Alone with Rentals. How are you? People ask me from time to time about the taste of our duck and goose eggs. And they don't taste any different from chicken eggs. I think they have more flavor than a chicken egg. And I would venture to guess that because ours don't just full-time forage, they're not free range, because free range means there's no fences, that they can go wherever they want to go, as far as they want to go, and eat whatever they want to eat. And ours do forage on the back pasture and in the backyard. So they eat bugs and small, lizards and frogs and things like that from time to time. And I think there are some little fish, minnows or something out in the pond. So I'm sure from time to time they eat that kind of stuff. But their primary diet is poultry feed. And, they get cracked corn or steamrolled oats mixed in with it. Sometimes I have to make sure the protein levels are right for them. They do get, so shout out again to Vicki Lund, Dr. Lund. She sent us a bag of the dried mealworms from our Amazon wish list. Those I use for protein boosts from time to time for the flock. One of the challenges with raising geese and ducks together is that the geese do need a little bit more protein every day than the ducks do. So they get like chopped chicken liver or chopped beef liver, just raw liver, a couple of times a week. And that's just enough to keep the niacin levels where they need to be. That's the whole protein formula there. It has to do with the balance of niacin and protein so that they can actually break down the protein. We do have a couple of ducks in our flock, a couple of rescue girls that as ducklings did not get adequate niacin. And those are my girls that have those mobility issues with the big knobby legs and their joints are real swollen looking. That's a classic sign of a niacin deficiency at some point. You can never correct it. You can kind of hold it steady where it won't continue to deteriorate. Hello, John at Pedrosa Travel. Thank you for being here. But you can't fix it. You can't reverse it. So again, those worms have definitely come in handy, especially this week because I haven't let them out on the back pasture. I was just concerned about, if you didn't see my live about this a couple of days ago, I've been concerned when it's cold like this, the rabbits and squirrels and skunks and things that hawks and eagles. I don't see eagles around here. Why don't I see eagles around here? Y'all know I would love to see that. But the predatory birds, to which we've lost some of our ducks in the past, rely on those things obviously to feed themselves and their families. So when it's cold like this, we don't see those animals much. They're staying put in their little dens, in their burrows or their nests or wherever they can be safe and warm and protected from the elements. And that just means that animals that are out are bigger targets. Hello, Brian and Shirley at Just Doing Our Best. Thank you for being here. So I've been reluctant to let them out on the back. I don't know how much difference I think it could make for me if they were close by versus letting them out on the back pasture, because when we lost the ducks to the hawk and the bobcat, it was right in our backyard, not the pasture, not the duck yard, the backyard right outside the back door. Like, it might have been between 15 and 20 feet from the back door. When I heard the commotion that day that the bobcat was here, I opened the back door and I saw him, but of course then I went into mama mode. I just marched right out as he was fighting with Rembrandt and screaming and waving my arms. I was doing all the coyote stuff I've heard that you're supposed to do, which did work for him. He looked at me and thought I was absolutely crazy and he took off. We still lost Rembrandt. We still lost that goose that was fighting him away. And we lost, I think, 3 ducks that day. And it was right in the backyard. So don't ask me to explain why I think somehow it offers some greater level of protection for them to be closer to me when I know there's a greater risk of predators getting a hold of them. Whatever. But let me have my comfort that I get from that. So I haven't been letting them onto the back pasture. They are there today. They did get to go onto the back pasture today. Only because, again, it's thawed now. The sun is out. I'm seeing other, squirrels out and lots of birds, and the crows have been around. So I'm guessing they're all finding something to eat. And because the crows are around, the crows chase hawks away, which is really neat to see because they're very territorial. So if a crow is near, they will not allow a hawk to be near. So jump back to jumbo eggs. That's where all that got started. So the geese are laying eggs. I'm not ready for babies, and I think there's still a possibility we're going to get another cold snap or ice storm before, like the end of March. Hello, John at Home Bartending with John. Thank you for being here. So I've been collecting all of those eggs, but I typically, again, I cook with them. I made myself an omelet with one day, which it made a huge omelet. It was a sausage, cheese, and peppers omelet with one goose egg, and I ate off of it for like 3 days because I'll have, I have biscuits with it or toast with it. So if I can collect enough of those, I'm going to weigh them and see if they qualify as jumbo eggs, just for kicks. All right, so that's going to be our Did You Know for today. Now I want to share with you. Oh, these are also some kind of Did You Knows. This is kind of Did You Know like. In 1923, experts made predictions in various newspapers and publications around the country about what life would be like in 100 years. So here we are, 100 years later, and some of these were very interesting to me. Some of them, I just don't know that I relate to it as well because, it made sense to them at the time. So I'm going to go over a few of those with you. And this article, let me read you just this first paragraph of the article. Forget flying cars. When scientists and sociologists in 1923 offered predictions for what life might look like in 100 years, their visions were more along the lines of curly-haired men, 4-hour workdays, 300-year-old people, and watch-size radio telephones. So you guys can already be thinking of how real life now compares to just those limited examples of what they covered. But let's find the first one. And regarding the men curling their hair, it says predictions about men curling their hair appear to stem from a general worry about anything that challenges gender norms. While talk of a 4-hour workday is seemingly part of a larger conversation about the promise of automation. So at the time, this is interesting to me that at the time, 100 years ago, there were the concept of gender norms. And again, some of the stuff that has presented in our lifetimes now, that was already being considered 100 years ago. And let me get to some of the predictions now. All right. One expert predicted the eradication of cancer as well as tuberculosis, infantile paralysis, also known as polio, locomotor ataxia, don't know what that is, and leprosy. So 100 years ago, it was predicted that those things would not be around anymore. And beauty contests will be unnecessary as there will be so many beautiful people that it will be almost impossible to select winners. They continued, the same will apply to baby contests. And according to this article, what's behind that is because that there would be fewer diseases. There would just also be fewer aberrations, I guess, in genetic makeups and things that maybe give people a look that is not considered beautiful. So that's interesting to me. One anthropologist reportedly versed in masculine and feminine trends declared curls for men by 2023. And a similar prediction appeared in the Savannah News, which also forecast that women will probably be shaving their heads. Also, the maidens may pronounce it the height of style in personal primping to blacken their teeth. Won't we be pretty? Isn't this interesting to imagine what these people were picturing? And again, to consider the conversations, the concepts that were at play at that time that would lead them to believe that a big span of time, like 100 years, would change it so much. And that's where these predictions come from. So regarding the living longer, it did predict that the average person would live longer. Most of the experts predicted that the average person would live longer in 2023. One said the average lifespan could reach 100 years, though certain individuals could make it to 150 or even 200. Another cited a scientist who put the average at 300 years. So I don't know about you. So John says, yeah, we do have women that shave their heads. I don't have anything against that. And there have been some days where I don't like my hair so much. I wish it was a thing that I could just shave my head and just get some pretty tattoos on it. You know, just get my life story tattooed on my head. And that's what I would have on my head instead of hair. Then I have other days where I like my hair, and I'm glad that I haven't jumped on that. But yeah, so John says Aztec women would sometimes blacken their teeth. And I mean, that's a whole nother show right there. Some of the interesting things that tribal people do, I guess that's the right term, to be beautiful. You know, the skulls that you've seen where they've elongated their skulls somehow, or they've worn the rings around their neck from the time women have worn the rings around their neck from the time they're little babies. And I guess every year they get another ring around the neck until they have like long, like giraffe necks. Thank you, David Hunt. So David Hunt says, Grace Slick shaved her head, but I have beautiful hair. So yeah, it's okay most days. Maybe I just get tired of it. I just want to figure out something else to do with it. So back to lifespan. This is a did you know? I mean, all of this is a did you know? But for context, the expected lifespan of someone born in the U.S. decreased last year, meaning 2022, to 76.4 years. The shortest it's been in nearly 2 decades. Now, I have read other articles. I've read studies that indicate that has everything to do with COVID, that the impact of COVID and the deaths associated with COVID have reduced the average lifespan. So I wouldn't consider that like a trend by any means, but we are always going to be subject to these pandemic type things. You know, these once in a lifetime for some of us, viruses or health issues or some environmental thing that presents itself that it has an impact on longevity. So, but that was interesting to me because I thought the lifespan was much higher than that right now. So again, did you know? Look, I learned just like you guys do. In another optimistic outlook, mathematician and electrical engineer Charles Steinmetz predicted that people would spend even less time working. The headline for that article was "No More Hard Work by 2023." Steinmetz believed the time is coming when there will be no long drudgery and that people will toil not more than 4 hours a day owing to the work of electricity. The paper declared, adding that in his vision, every city will be a spotless town. Isn't that interesting? Let's see. Here's something that's going to be happening on John's channel. Hey, John, this is right up Akashi's alley. You guys need to get together. So send me a link. If you have a link, if that's a video that's going live, if it's a live stream, if it's a video that's premiering, send me a link and I will get it posted. I'd love to be able to post it here in the chat. So we'll figure out some way to get that. Figure out some way to get that posted in the chat so we can check that out tomorrow. Where was I? Oh, okay. So longer lifespans. And then this article goes on to say, and where exactly would all these people be spending their long and leisurely lives? Several publications posited that technological and industrial advances would make more parts of North America more habitable, estimating the U.S. population at 300 million and Canada at 100 million in 2023. So it does go on to tell us that currently as of the date of this article, which is a 23 article, the U.S. population is at 335 million and Canada at more than 38 million. I'm not sure what that means at more than 38 million. Like, how many more? What does that mean? I mean, if it had said at least 38 million, then I would think, I don't know. It just seems worded funny to me. But maybe that means, I don't know a lot about Canada. I'm not embarrassed to tell you. Maybe just the remote parts of Canada are not as easily counted. But I don't know how many more people that could represent beyond 38 million. I thought Canada had more people in it. That does make it kind of nice sound. It does make it sound kind of nice to go to Canada, right? If it's not so crowded. And then regarding gizmos and gadgets, well, it just says there were predictions about advances to dream about in science, technology, transportation, communications, and other fields. And then regarding flying, aviation pioneer Glenn Curtis predicted that by 2023, gasoline as a power source will have been replaced by radio, and that the skies will be filled with myriad craft sailing over well-defined routes, which the Minneapolis Journal deemed an attractive prophecy. There was a lot of excitement about the prospect of wireless and paperless communications 100 years ago. One writer envisioned a world in which Pittsburgh and London take orders on talking films, quotations, from merchants in Peking, and 1,000-mile-an-hour freighters deliver goods before sunset. So I can't help. Hey, Betty J, how are you? Thanks for being here. I can't help but think about like some of the science fiction stories of the past that had concepts and storylines that at the time were just considered pure fantasy. It just was never in a million years would the people at the time have believed that anything that happened in the story would look like something in real life at some point in the future. And yet a lot of those things have come to pass. I'll tell you the one thing I wish would happen. If you're a Star Trek fan, I can't remember what the name of the thing is. When like Picard, my favorite Star Trek is Next Generation. So when Picard goes over to this, whatever this machine thing is, and he gets his Earl Grey tea, he just tells it he wants an Earl Grey tea, and it just materializes. And so they can go there and get their meal. They want steak and potatoes. It just materializes there. It's like a 3D printer for food. Now I'd be all over that. Is somebody predicting that? And if so, when is that going to happen? Let's see. Oh, let me take this. Oh, let's just replace it with this comment. It's always interesting talking about the future, as everyone is always optimistic. For the most part, we've got our doomsday people out there, and not to say that preppers don't think positively. They just know enough to be prepared, because again, there are events that all of us are going to see at least once in our lifetimes that can have a dramatic impact on just life and living. Picard rules. I loved the old show. My parents were big sci-fi and horror fans, and so we watched a lot of those TV shows and stuff when I was a kid. Once we finally got a television, we didn't have a TV till I was like 8 years old. But when Next Generation came around, I can just binge that show, all seasons. I can just binge that. Like I could watch that every weekend, first episode to very last episode. I love it. But whatever that thing is called, somebody can look that up for me. What is that machine called in Next Generation, where they get their food and stuff? Is Deep Space Nine the one with Avery? A replicator. Thank you. It's called a replicator. Yeah, I want one of those. And is Deep Space Nine? Oh my gosh, what was the captain's name? Is it his real life name in Deep Space Nine? Is it his real last name Avery? Something Avery? Because I like that one too. That's probably my second favorite one. Okay, back to my list. I'm getting all squirrely here. So we were talking about gadgets and wireless and paperless communications. Watch size radio telephones will keep everybody in communication with the ends of the earth, they added, hitting the nail on the head. So yeah, that one. But I wonder if even in years before this particular batch of predictions, if someone may have predicted it. This is just someone that looked over publications from 100 years ago where people were making predictions. Yeah, so Captain Cisco, but what is his real name? Isn't his real last name something Avery? Isn't he? Because if that's the one, then Deep Space Nine is my second favorite Star Trek. I think that's right. Oh, Deep Space Nine, did that have oh my gosh, what is his name? This French, the guy with the French kind of name. Yeah. So I bet 100 years ago, people could have predicted that I would not have much of a memory left at this point. Avery Brooks. Okay, I was thinking that was his last name. So yes, so Deep Space Nine is my second favorite Star Trek series. I really wanted to like Enterprise because I like Scott Bakula from the old Quantum Leap days, but I just never got into it. I don't know if it was on a weird night or something where I couldn't watch it much, but I never got into that one quite as much. So thank you, Nina and Boyce. You got to get out of here. Thanks for being here today. Back to gadgets and technological advances. Archibald Lowe, the British scientist and author who invented an early TV and the first drone, among other things, wrote that the war of 2023 will naturally be a wireless war, thanks to wireless telephony, sight, heat, power, and writing. That to me that's the one that's right on the head, right? Oh, I love Star Trek, Dogface. If you guys didn't watch our new series, This and That with Rich and Kat, that premiered on Monday this week, there's 2 or 3 rounds where I'm the one guessing the answers and Richard's giving me the clues. And my answer is X-Files. Like, that's my favorite TV show of all time. Adam watched that, and he was there for the premiere of that. And he knows we have this running joke that so often when I'm playing trivia games with somebody, I want the answer to be X-Files. I want X-Files. I need to spread the word about X-Files. Let me take my little replicator thing down. You guys be sure and message me when replicators become a thing that I can order. So that, I think that really hit it right on the head. Professor Lowe concludes that it is quite possible that when civilization has advanced another century, mental telepathy will exist in embryo and will form a very useful method of communication. So I know my whole life I've heard we only use 10% of our brains, blah, blah, blah. And, what's that other percentage doing? Well, I've kind of imagined that what they mean by using 10% of our brains is that we use 10% of our brains to form thoughts and communicate and consciously carry out jobs and acts and stuff like that. So I don't know that the other 90% isn't making our heart beat and making us breathe and breaking down carbohydrates and all the stuff that has to happen in a body. So I don't know about the telepathy thing. I definitely think there are people that are really in tune with other people and can read body language and facial expressions and things like that. And it's almost like a telepathy. It's almost telepathic because the person that may be unconsciously or subconsciously communicating something is not aware of it. But and part of that comes from Heather. Oh my gosh. Hi, come hither with Heather. Only 3%. Well, whatever the 3% is, I'm glad you're using it because it's enjoyable for the rest of us. So good to see you here today. But I think that's all. That's all in this article. So let me close that. We're going to do our channel growth right quick, and then we'll spin for our channel of the week. And I think I will have timed it just right so that we'll be ready for Marin when she gets here about 3 o'clock. Yeah, I am really tickled to see you here, Heather. So let me move this over. Well, I did that. I shouldn't have made it that small. Okay, I just don't want my picture to be in the way. So, good news again. I think everybody grew, or at least everybody on my list stayed the same. Seeing you here, Heather, now, because I was thinking the time difference would make it impossible for me to see you. But if you think you'd be up for coming on and visiting with us, I would love to have you on the show. So I'm going to find an email for you, and I'm going to send you an email. Y'all check out Come Hither with Heather's channel. So let's see. So yes, so Nina and Boyce at Rooted in Texas. Again, this was previously running Runneth Over Garden and Life. They are Texas neighbors of ours. We haven't had the pleasure of meeting them yet live and in person, but I'm really hoping there's going to be another meetup that we can somehow swing that won't be too far, because we can't go too far with all the animals here. And let's see, let's put this comment up. Interesting. So yeah, I've always heard that thing about, left-handed people use the right side of their brain more and right-handed people use the left side of their brain more. I was born left-handed, but it was in a place and during a time apparently that people didn't realize some people are born left-handed. I've told this story before, but if you're new here, and so like school, I went home almost every day from school with a note to my parents that, Kathy's having a hard time remembering which hand to use for whatever, cutting, coloring, writing, whatever it was. Kathy's having a hard time remembering. And so obviously I didn't think I was having a hard time remembering. It was natural for me to put up or to use that hand. I was just naturally using the hand that felt like my natural hand. So I had to learn to use my right hand. I play pool with both hands. I bat. I'm a switch hitter. I can golf with both hands. I can bowl with both hands. It came in handy when I was learning to play the piano. So I don't know if it means I used more of my brain or not, but I did have to learn to use my non-dominant hand. So now back to my list. So Nina and Boyce, they have grown. They're at 814. Ordered Steps has gained a subscriber. Mind for Takashi Chris is at 330. She's gained some subscribers. 12 Stones Ranch is holding on to that 1,790 something. Oh, look at this. So, Vicky, who knew? There's another kindred spirit thing I have with you. Interesting. Yeah, I can't write with my left hand now, and I wonder sometimes if it's because I was not allowed to learn to write with my left hand. So it's funny because Richard's left-handed. He does a lot of things right-handed, but he writes with his left hand. He bowls left-handed. I think, does he bowl? We haven't been again in a long time. Now we'll have to go bowling. Maybe we'll record it. But he writes with his left hand. I can shoot both ways, but I can't hit anything if I shoot with my right hand because I'm left-eyed. That's a thing. So my left eye is my dominant eye. So when I shoot, I can actually hit the targets. I qualified when I got my concealed carry license. I qualified with my left hand. So back to my list here. Ranch. Joe Hupp, also in Australia, is holding on to his 288 subscribers. Multi Hunter is at 630 today. My friend Weave across the pond, he was Weave's World, is holding on to his 3,100 something subscribers. Tiffany at Mud and Mascara is at 419. I have not seen a lot of content going up. Let me go. I know I'm squirreling y'all, but yeah. I guess in the early 60s, people just didn't realize some kids really are just born left-handed. And I know my mom acted a little bit surprised every now and then because her father was ambidextrous, which maybe it's because he was also born left-handed and wasn't allowed to use his left hand. Odom's Homestead, how are you? Thank you for being here. I see a reference to Millionaire Paul. Does that mean Millionaire Paul is in my chat? I am so excited. We're going to be sharing your number here in just a little bit. So thank you for being here today. So yes, let me get back to my list. So Mudda Mascara, I haven't seen a lot of new content going up on her channel, so she may just be taking a little bit of a break. That's my friend Tiffany. Devin and Ryan at Our New Land are at 877. They just put up a trail cam video this morning. Maybe it's not the first one, but it's the first one I caught. I love that kind of stuff. So they've got in the one trail cam, it's like a 3 or 4 minute video. There's a bobcat, there's a skunk, there's a fox, there's a lot of deer. There's a hog. There might even be some other animals just in that one little compilation video thing from their trail cam. Some of it's at night, some of it's during the day. And there's one scene that really tickled me. Oh, there's a coyote. There's one scene that tickled me because I think in the one scene, there's a skunk, a couple of deer, either a coyote or a bobcat, and they're all together in that scene. I don't know why that tickles me so much, but that tickles me. Let's see what David's saying here about my shooting. If you hit something shooting with your right hand, would that be a violation as you qualified with your left hand? I don't know. If the thing needs to be shot, I don't guess it would matter which hand did the shooting. Fortunately, we live in crime is virtually non-existent here. I don't even know the last time there was a murder here like 6 or 8 years ago. I don't remember what the story ended up being about that. Like a man shot his wife or had someone shoot his wife. It was at the town center here. And again, we were just all dumbfounded because that doesn't happen here. But I think it may have had like mob or drug ties somehow. And these people had moved. They had either moved here or they were going to be moving here. So I don't know that we can claim them as South Lake people. But for the most part, South Lake and Keller, right around where we live, it's a very small town feel, very, knock on wood, safe place. But I still, we live in Texas, and we have guns. I figured I better learn how to use them and be licensed to use them. So, yeah, murder in South Lake. That's a story you can look up, Vicki. I don't know. I'm sure there were news articles about it because, again, it was so unheard of here. Now on to, so Our New Land, they're at 877 subscribers. Lazy Days Ahead with Jesse and Lisa, they are at 1,300 something subscribers. My friend Ginger at Not For Nothing Homestead is at 550 subscribers. My friend Robin at What the Flock is at 394 subscribers. My friend Lee at First Floor Audio, who is in the chat today, that number is highlighted, y'all, because A, it's amazing. I'm loving watching how this channel is growing. But B, look how close he is to 1,000 subscribers. That's like the first major milestone. Used to be 500 subscribers was a major milestone for all YouTubers, because if you were looking to grow your channel and maybe be monetized one day, when you hit the 500 subscriber mark, you got your community tab, the little place where we can post, messages and pictures, and you can't put videos on it, but it's like a Facebook status. So you can post status messages or shout out other channels and share links for videos or links for stuff coming up on your channel. So Lee is at 960 subscribers as of when I checked stats, when I checked the numbers a couple of hours ago. If you have not checked out his channel yet, please do. Not just because he's at 960 subscribers, but because there is good stuff there. The last live I got to catch, I didn't get to catch the whole thing. I always have to go put the flock up like in the middle of everything that happens in the evenings. But he was actually creating music. And I was watching so on the screen, you see the software that he uses, and he plays, it's all connected to the instruments. So he plays whatever notes on the instrument, or if it's a drum beat, plays that, and it puts it on there. Who knew? Back the last time I wrote a song, I haven't written a lot of songs. I literally just had to buy, blank paper, blank music paper with the staffs on it, and draw the notes in myself, peck them out on the thing, draw the notes in, forget trying to orchestrate something. I would definitely have had to hire somebody to do it. But interesting. So you learn things about music. One of my favorite things he does in a lot of his streams is on the spot, he makes up, plays, and sings a song specifically for the names of the people in the chat. So you go in the chat, and if you want a song for yourself, he welcomes you to the stream by on the spot. Did I say on the spot? On the spot, creating a tune for you. And he'll probably tell you it's really not that big a deal. I have this system or whatever. But when you're the person that's in the chat and somebody is singing a song to you about you with your name in it right there on the spot, and maybe he's never even seen your name, it might be somebody brand new to a live stream. That's amazing to me. That's amazing to me. It's very, very fun. It's a great energy. His people in the chat are always super friendly, very welcoming. It's just a great vibe and a great way for sure to spend a weekend evening. So he does a live stream on Saturdays at 5 p.m. my time, Central Time, which is late for him in the UK. But that way he can reach more people. So please check that out. Please go show him some love. He was on the RichKatRanch Roundup in the summer last year. So check out that interview too. He did a concert for us. In essence, he blessed us with a music concert for that show, and it was just outstanding. So please check him out. I would love to come back next Friday and see 1,000 subscribers in that box. Well, it won't be that box. It'll be the box to the right of that box. But I promise you, it's a channel that everyone will like. This isn't fringe stuff. This isn't, so narrow in what it focuses on that you can't find something you'll enjoy. So please go and check that channel out. Subscribe, like the videos, comment on the videos, get involved in the chats, and let's give us a reason to celebrate 1,000 subscribers next week. Katie at Mayfield Ranch is at 621 subscribers this week. Rich New Design is at 306. Our Texas neighbors, Jeff and Lorena at Back to Country Homestead, are at 537. Ronnie and Brittany, our California friends, are at 554. Ashley at CNC Farm. Look at this, guys. She's gained another 40 subscribers just in a week. Go check out that channel. If you're trying to grow a channel, go watch her channel to learn some things that you can do. Okay, so Lee says it stands at 949 at the moment. Yeah, it goes up and down. So we know if we want him to hit 1,000, we've got to have it like at 1,015, just so when the backsliding happens, which always happens. Hey, there's Jeff and Lorena in the chat today. Thanks for being here. We just went over your numbers. 537 subscribers as of when I checked the numbers earlier today. Again, then Ronnie and Brittany, 554. Ashley at CNC Farm, 1,130 something. John at Home Bartending with John was at 260 subscribers when I checked today. Vicki Lund, Dr. Lund at Psychology Noir with Dr. Lund is at 785. Another great story happening there with these numbers and great content. My friend Adam Sky is at 174. I think when I had Adam on the show, and again, if you haven't seen that interview, go back. It's one of my favorite interviews. Adam and I kind of knew each other here on YouTube through Weave's World. He was my quiz partner, and we just had so much fun together before I invited him on the show. And then we had a wonderful time. I had a great time. I hope the audience had a great time on the show. And I think he had maybe 97 subscribers when he was on the show. I'm not claiming any credit for this. I'm just saying that I'm always excited when my friends that bless me by coming on the show start growing their channels. I mean, maybe it's not what everybody wants. You don't have to get on YouTube and want to be a full-time YouTuber or want to make money off of YouTube. But if that is your wish, if that is what you're working toward, I just celebrate along with you as you cross your milestones and your numbers grow. So there is Adam Sky in the chat, y'all. We just have so much fun. I look forward to even just comments because I don't know about you, Adam. It feels very brother sister to me. We just it's funny to me somehow that some of you that I have not met in person, I really feel like I know you. I feel like I know you, like we've just spent, half our lives living on the same street or going to the same school or by whatever means that I really know you. And I love that about YouTube. That's the best part of YouTube. Okay, moving on, or I'm not going to get through it all. So John, Dr. Lund, Adam Sky, my friend Dino at the Late Late Horror Show is at 98,300 something subscribers as of this morning. He has added some neat new content to the channel. So he's allowing some other people to come in now and do some shows on the channel. That's really interesting to me. And the stuff that those people are covering is really fun and interesting. So check that out. Dawn Ray B is at 413. Jen and Steve at Good Times Homestead with Jen and Steve are at 712. Nancy at Our Treasured Home is at 812. Fat Ninja DM is at 466. Again, if you're new here, Fat Ninja was a guest on the show back in November, I think on the 11th of November, and he passed away on the 19th of November. So I'm loving still seeing that there are people visiting the channel and interacting with the channel. He had a great message. He was a great guy, a very genuine person, a very loving person who had, been down some hard roads and learned some great lessons that he was very willing to share with anyone who would stop by to listen. So he's staying on my list because of that. My friend David at Safe and Sound Texas Audio Excursion is at 1,840 something. He's still dreaming of that 2,000 subscribers. He had hoped to hit it before the end of the year, but not quite there. So lots of interesting stuff at that channel as well. My friend Peter Tragos at Lawyer You Know. So this was my first big, Dino was my first, what I could call a big channel, because he at the time probably had, 75,000 subscribers. I have to go back and look at the video. Peter, when I first met him, I don't remember what he had. Maybe he had 160,000 subscribers. That was huge to me. And when I first started interviewing people, because I knew when we did our very first live stream that my live streams were always going to be used to showcase other channels and introduce all of you to other channels, people that I knew through YouTube or I enjoyed their channel and felt like they had quality content that needed to be shared. But I limited myself. I remember thinking, it has to be a small channel. A big channel is not going to want to come on to a small channel's show. Why would they want to do that? Who would do that? They don't need more subscribers. But I knew Peter through being in a lot of his live streams and being really active with his chat family and the channel. I'm a subscriber and a member there. So I sent him an Instagram message and said, hey, I would love to interview you on my show, introduce you to some new people. And he said, sure, let's do it. That's Peter, y'all. So Peter is staring down the barrel of the 200,000 subscribers gun, for lack of a better way to put it. And it's good stuff over there. He works hard and teaches us a lot. My friend Steven, Texas neighbor, Pawpaw's Kitchen is at 302 subscribers today. My friend Ralph at Webb's Web is at 138 subscribers today. My friend Amanda at Bare Bones Living is at 613. My friend Danielle at Danny Days Ahead is at 733. My friend John, who's in the chat today at Pedroza Travel, is at 711. Love seeing these numbers go up, John. My friend Angela at The Inquisitive Farm Wife is at 1,090 something today. My friend David Hunt in the chat today is at 501 subscribers today. Millionaire Paul, I was so excited. He crossed the 150 mark. It's been within the last week, I think, right, Paul? He's at 166 subscribers as of when I checked the numbers today. So this is just so exciting to see when things start, you start getting some momentum. I love seeing that. My friend Tom Salta that was on the show a couple weeks ago. Again, apologies for the weird audio thing that was going on that day. I did realize after the fact that echo was only happening when he was on the screen with me. So there had to have just been something weird about our computers talking to each other, because when it was just me by myself, it sounded okay. But it's still, y'all, it drove me crazy. My little perfectionistic tendencies were kicking in, and it was really stressful for me. So this RKR 2022 year in review, that's us, RichKatRanch. We were at 1,899 subscribers when I checked, when I ran all the stats today. Obviously, we're looking forward to 2,000 subscribers as well. We will do some prize giveaways after we hit 2,000 subscribers. So it'll be a subscribers only thing. I learned that lesson when we did our very first live stream, because we had all these people come into the live stream that I'd never heard of. I haven't seen them since. And so it will be a members only, I mean, not a members only, a subscribers only prize thing. So the chat will even be limited to people that are subscribed to the channel. Today's guest, Marin at Palma Pioneer Pantry. She is backstage. I don't know if you guys heard that little tone. That means somebody has arrived. I'm going to be bringing her up in just a second, but I figured I would let you guys know who I have coming up in the next few weeks. Next Friday, it'll be a 2-guest show. Sparrow Spalding, amazing channel. She has I love her delivery, y'all. She tells it like it is. She's a retired psychotherapist. She's a nutrition coach, and she does like life coaching now, but her channel focuses on personality disorders and relationship issues. And I had a great visit with her. We just got on StreamYard yesterday just to chat with each other. And, I kind of gave her the scoop on what to expect and what kind of things we'll talk about. She's sending me copies of two of her books. She's an author. And so she's sending me a couple of her books. I'm going to read those. I'll be sharing with you also what I'm thinking about the books and what I'm getting from them. But she will be my first guest next Friday. And then Brittany at Flannel Hill Farm will be the second guest for that day. The following Friday, the 17th, Adventures of Kenny and Debbie will be my guests that day. And then the last Friday of the month, the 24th, Bearded Eagle will be my guest. I'm in discussions now with a photographer out of Brisbane, Australia, who is going to be on the show. He had initially told me that late in February or early March would work best for him. So when I contacted him a month or so ago, that was the time frame we were looking at. So we'll nail down a date for you. I'm hoping he will share some of his photographs with you. Be prepared. It's like macro photography and pet portrait photography. So he takes amazing pictures. I think I posted a picture of his on my community tab. It's probably been about a month ago, and it's a spider that's wearing like a Christmas sweater and a Christmas hat. If some of you saw it, you'll know what I'm talking about. If not, I'll get another photo of his posted on the tab just so you can see. I mean, not all of the little critters he photographs have costumes on, but it's just amazing. I would love to learn how to do that. Y'all know how I love bugs and spiders, but all I have is my phone for a camera, and I don't know how I could ever get pictures as amazing as some of his pictures. But let's see. I'm hoping I'm not if I've missed you in the chat, apologies. Hello to everyone is here. Thank you for everyone is here. And then Bearded Eagle again. So last Friday of the month. Let me close all of this. We will visit with Marin. Then we'll spin for our channel of the week. And I'll be able to turn you guys loose. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to bring Marin up. Ooh. I see you in my backstage. Oh, is your camera frozen? Are you there, Marin?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Yeah, I've been trying to reset the camera since it looked like it was frozen to me, but I am having I turn it off and I turn it back on and it doesn't do anything.
Okay, so now at least your little circle with the flashing. I don't know how to make that happen, y'all. When you talk, your little circle expands and contracts, and that's what we see on the screen now.
Yeah.
If you want to, you can go out and then come back in and see if that will help.
Okay, let me try that. I'll be right back.
And I'll be scouring the chat to see if there is, let's see. Okay, so here, Pedroza, John is saying, videos are technically 30 pictures a second. Did I miss something up here? Or does this have to do with macro photography? I only know that term macro photography now because of the bug photographers I follow on Facebook. Yeah, and here's a little tip also from John at Pedroza Travel about collaborations. I want to do a collaboration. I just don't know how to pick what I would want to do. I'm not really a cooking channel, so I don't really want to do a collaboration that has to do with cooking. But I do think it's a great way to connect with more people and, introduce yourself to more people. So I need to come up with something. If you guys have ideas, send me ideas. And I did say in the, did I say it in the show? No, I think when I was telling you about our new show, I'll show you all that thumbnail. Let me show you the thumbnail so you know what to look for, because the thumbnails will always be the same, except that, the name of the episode and stuff will be different, and it'll have little icons that have to do with the episode. Oh, how do I show you all that? I don't know how I show you the, okay. So I heard Marin come in, but on my thing here, it says devices not connected. Okay, so we're making some progress. Oh, I know what I can do. I can just show you this thumbnail that's on my desktop right now. In fact, I will give you a sneak peek of the thumbnail for the next episode, which will be Monday at 7 p.m. And then we'll bring Marin up. So let me share my screen. This is what you'll look for to find the videos. All right. This is the thumbnail for our new series, This and That with Rich and Kat. We played Heads Up in the first episode. I think it turned out great. It seems to have been very well received. Schultze, how are you? There's my friend Schultze from the Late Late Horror Show. Yeah, I pop in and out, but I think I'm in bed before you get there, Schultze. So I have been in a time or two in the last week. I will at some point be getting back to being more regular there, but I'm still being mindful of getting adequate sleep so that I can keep myself healthy with all the flu bugs and COVID that hit our house. Anyway, so yeah, so Adam was at that premiere. Akashi was at that premiere. A lot of you spent some time stopping in to visit with us. So this next episode will be Strange with a Side of Fries. We're just trying some things out. We'll see what works best. If you have suggestions, please send them to me. But let's bring Marin up and cross your fingers, guys. Okay. I don't see you. But if you'll talk, let's see if I can hear.
So can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
It was working right up until you said, I'll bring Marin on now. And then it froze again.
Well, do you want to go out and come right back in one time? And as soon as you get here, I'll bring you up.
I will. Let me try it one more time.
Okay, we'll see if we can hold on to you that way. So I'm not going to put anything else on the screen, guys. We're just going to wait. Seth the Welsh, thank you for being here today. Who else have I missed? Adam says, Marin, turn the light on. I don't want to put anything else on the screen until we get her up to make sure that it's still going to work. What else can I tell you, though? If you're just coming into the chat, again, we've had a cold spell here in South Lake, Texas, North Texas this week. Schools were shut down all week. Even the fast food places were shut down. The feed store was shut down. Richard went yesterday, I think. That's when the feed store finally opened. Later in the day as it warms up a little and the traffic that does have to be out helps to kind of slush up the ice on the roads, then it's not quite so dangerous. So right now it's telling me device is not connected, but she is backstage. And then as soon as I see her picture, I'm going to pull her up. It says they will need to connect their mic and cam before you can add them to the stream. Anybody else have tips on StreamYard? I've never seen that come up when I've had a guest on the show. Okay, so now the box, that little thing went away. I'm going to go ahead and bring her up and we'll see. So it's trying to load. There you are. Okay. Oh, and it's freezing, but I can kind of
I'm moving.
Yes. So when you first popped in this time, it said devices were not connected, and then it said they will need to connect their mic and their camera before you can bring them on screen. But then as soon as that message went away, I just brought it up and thought, we'll see what we get. So there you are. Thank you for being here. Welcome. And am I saying your name correctly? It's Marin?
That is correct. At least you can see a picture of me because I think it's frozen again.
Yeah. Well, at least we can see you, so people will know what they're looking for when they go to your channel. Hello, Woman Outdoors. How are you, LB? Thanks for being here. Let me get to my list of questions. Tell me about, while I'm pulling that up, though, tell me about the weather where you are. Where are you geographically, and what's your weather doing?
So we live in Layton, Utah, just north of Salt Lake City. I say just north, it's about 30 minutes north of Salt Lake City. And we've been having some really cold weather lately. I think our snow might be done for the year, but we had a really cold front come through where we had temperatures. For us, it was cold. It got down to, I think, like 2 degrees or something, which is pretty cold for us, but I know it's not cold for everybody. But it's warming up a little bit. It's about 30, 35 today.
Yeah, and that's about, we're supposed to get to 41. I haven't checked the temperature now in a few hours, but when I was out earlier, the sun is nice and bright and the skies are clear. So I do think we probably will be in the 40s today. But it's been unusually cold here as well this week. So whatever that system was, man, it packed a punch in a lot of places. Yeah. I like to visit with my guests partly about their channels and then just partly about them, who the person is behind the channel, because I firmly believe that a lot of the big channels and the successful channels are that way as much or more because people like the person. They just enjoy the person. They like their delivery or their personality or the sound of their voice or something about the person. And it wouldn't even matter what kind of content was on the channel because they like the person. So I like to let people get a feel for who the person is. But we will talk about your YouTube channel too, because the other part of that is that I want to encourage people to go and check out your channel, watch your videos, subscribe and like and share and do all the things that can help you grow and spread the word about the content on your channel. So she's in Utah, Schultze. Yeah, she's in Utah where they've had cold weather there as well. But my first question is, what motivated you to start your YouTube channel?
So I have struggled most of my life with what I thought was a food phobia. So it's not an eating disorder per se. I've always eaten enough. I haven't been like, oh, I need to lose weight. I don't throw up. Trying new foods was terrifying. And so I just didn't. And so I had a pretty limited diet for most of my life. And then I realized that it wasn't healthy. And so I started trying to kind of get better. Eventually I did, I saw a therapist about it and they told me, hey, you have OCD. That's what this is. And I did an intensive outpatient therapy program, and I kind of got better about it. But I just kept eating the same things that I've always eaten. And I have a son, a little boy, who was born last year, and I don't want to raise him eating unhealthy things or a very limited diet. And I do most of the cooking in our house. And so I was like, okay, I need something to really motivate me to cook more and differently and try new things. And I was like, okay, well, I love watching people do this kind of stuff on YouTube. So why don't I try sharing it with other people? And then I also will have kind of a community that can give me recipes and suggestions and tell me, well, if it tasted weird, it's probably because you didn't add any salt or whatever the problem might be. And it's actually been really helpful so far with that. I've been trying a lot of new foods.
Good. Yeah. And I'm always intrigued at what finally makes somebody take the plunge. A lot of people will tell me they thought about it for years and years. Some people will, it just was like a spur of the moment thing. I had a neat video and thought, well, hey, let's put it on YouTube and see what happens. But I really like it because to me, you're more invested in the channel when it's something that's so personal for you. And when the background is related to something that important in your life. So I'm excited to learn that about you. Do you have a day job, quote unquote, beyond being a homemaker and a YouTuber?
Yeah, so I worked full time as an accountant for, 5 or 6 years after college, and then after my son was born, about 3 months after he was born, I had gone back to work full time, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And so I was able to work it out that I now work just part time. I work 2 days a week in the office, and then the rest of the time I'm home with my son and doing YouTube stuff, and it's been way better, I have to say.
Good. What do you do when you're not doing those things then? When you're not doing YouTube stuff and your day job stuff, and what do you like to do? Do you have hobbies? Do you have any free time at all? I know you've got a little one, so that limits it a lot, but.
Yeah, right now, almost all of my free time is going into either YouTube or we've been in our house for about 1.5 years. And I still feel like I don't have everything settled, like I don't have a place for everything so that everything can be in its place. So I spend a lot of time right now trying to get things organized and put away and, prepped and ready for when we decide to have the next baby and where we're going to put them. And so I'm trying to get all that settled. I do try to make time for, I like to quilt. And so I do try to make time for that. And I like to read, so I read every night. And YouTube. I like to watch people on YouTube. And so whenever I'm cleaning or doing laundry or anything like that, I've usually got somebody on in the background. So.
Okay. Does anyone help you with the channel? Does anybody help with the video editing or filming or coming up with ideas or?
So I do almost everything, but my husband does all of my video editing for me. Okay. I told him when we started this, I was like, I can't do this by myself. This is the one thing I'm most nervous about. And he doesn't work with computers, but he's pretty good with computers and technology. And so I was like, if you can do the editing, then I want to try to do this. And he said, let's do it. And so he's done all my editing for me ever since.
Very nice. Very nice. When did you upload your first video and what was it? What was the video about?
So we uploaded our first video January 4th, Wednesday, January 4th. So just this year is when we started. And it was a pantry tour, just of kind of our food storage room. And because we decided to kick off the channel with a pantry challenge. I don't know if any of you have seen Jessica at Three Rivers Homestead. She's a fairly large channel in the homesteading community. And every year she does a no spend January and February challenge where they only eat food from their pantry. And we're not exactly doing that because we're not quite that prepared. But in that first video, I showed people what food we had in our pantry and talked about the rules we were going to be following and said, hey, we're going to show you everything we eat for 2 months.
Yeah, I've seen similar channels. I think this is the second year now that I think I've seen a $50 February challenge happening. It's kind of similar. It's, a lot of homesteaders have an advantage. They raise their own meat and they raise their own vegetables and things. But some stuff you still have to go to the grocery store and get. And so I've seen that $50 February challenge. But Pantry challenge was a new thing for me. That's what intrigued me. And that's how I found you, because I don't remember whose channel I saw the first Pantry challenge video, where I first saw the first one. But I thought, I'm going to look for some more of these. And that's when your channel came up for me. So there's another, a piece of evidence that the collaborations are just a great way to grow a channel and get your name out there and,
yeah, absolutely.
meet new people. So let's see. Do you have a favorite video or a video on your channel about which you are most proud?
I mean, it's probably the one where I talk about my OCD at this point, because that was probably the scariest video to post. Just because, it's the first time I've ever talked about this. I'm an oversharer in general, but I've never really shared very much online. Like I've always been super careful about who my friends are on social media and who can see things. And so I was definitely nervous to post that. And I felt like I did a pretty good job with like the filming and pacing of that one. Whereas a lot of my other videos, I'm like, well, this is the footage we have, let's go with it. And that one I was like, okay, this like actually seems like a put together video.
Good. Well, and just, you can't be too hard on yourself. We all start somewhere. And I always tell myself, even the great big channels now with millions and millions of followers, they had to start somewhere with a first video or a first week of videos and maybe not have them look or come out the way they imagined it in their heads before they put them together and uploaded them. So I enjoy seeing growth, because there's other great, fun, positive signs of growth when you go back and compare early videos to the videos you're going to be uploading, a year from now or 5 years from now. So it's all good. There's good in all parts of it.
That's one of my favorite things to do, actually, is to go through like the channels that I find and I'm like, oh, I love this channel, and go watch all of their videos from beginning to end and like see how they grew and like how they changed the way that they filmed or the way that they told stories, and it's just really cool.
Yeah, no need to reinvent the wheel. You really can learn just by watching and connecting with other channels. What's something then that you always keep in mind when you are either coming up with an idea or you're actually creating a video for the channel? Is there like a one primary thing that you keep in the back of your mind?
I mean, right now, my big thing is that, like you said, I'm a mom. I work 2 days a week. I don't have a ton of time. And so when I'm creating videos, I try to think, okay, what am I going to be doing this week that would be interesting to share with people on YouTube? That I can just film something that I'm already doing and already working on. And then I try to think, like, as I'm planning the video, I try to think, okay, so if I was watching this video, what would I want to know about this process, or what would I want to know about what I'm doing, so that I can plan to film those parts of the process, or make sure that I make comments and talk about specific things. I'm still working on that, but I'm getting better.
Good. What is your favorite thing about YouTube so far?
I mean, really, I think it's that it's actually motivated and forced me to keep up with my goals of trying new foods and eating different things and cooking more from scratch and more healthy things. Because I've tried to do that before, and I've set goals and said, hey, I'm going to do this, and we last a week, maybe two, and then just kind of fall back into it. And with YouTube, like I've had days where it was like, nope, we're having Kraft macaroni and cheese for dinner, and that's what we're doing. And I post that on YouTube, but then the next day I'm like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit better. We're actually going to do this. And so it's helped me to not fall off the wagon anytime I make a mistake.
Good. Yeah. So accountability. When people
Yes.
know what you're doing, it's hard to pretend like you're not doing it.
Yes,
And vice versa.
exactly.
If you're doing it, then people will know it. So that's good. I don't think I've had anyone answer that way. And so I'm gonna kind of take that to heart myself. What's your least favorite thing about YouTube so far?
So we as a couple, we decided that we are not sharing our children. I mean, we only have one right now, but we're not sharing them online, like filming or like talking about personal information about them. And that is so hard because my son is my favorite thing in the world other than my husband. And so when I'm like chatting to the camera or like trying to film something and I'm like, oh, he's doing something really cute, or I want to share that. And then I'm like, no, we decided that it's just not something that we're willing to risk. I mean, as he gets older, we'll think about it because I mean, he's great. So I'd love for the world to know him, but that's probably been the hardest thing about YouTube is just not being able to share him because we just don't think it's safe.
Yeah. Have you had any crazy YouTube moments yet? So is something that went weird with a video upload or a weird interaction in the comments or
No, I really haven't. I've only had really nice comments. And we haven't like I forgot one Saturday. I forgot that it was Saturday and I forgot to upload our video until we usually upload at noon, and I forgot to do it until that afternoon. So there was that, but like I haven't had any real problems yet. No, I haven't had anything crazy yet.
good, good. So now tell me, I know you talked about things that you watch on YouTube, but what do you watch most? What kind of content do you watch and enjoy most on YouTube? Where do you spend the most time watching videos on YouTube? What kind of channels?
So I primarily watch homesteading channels. So families or individuals who grow their own food, whether that's vegetables or meat, who cook mostly from scratch at home, um, people who like raise livestock or live out in the country. Um, every once in a while, I'll go on a like a hardcore prepper kick where I'm because we don't do hardcore prepping, but every once in a while, I like to watch those videos and just kind of get ideas and be like, okay, well, I could tone that down for our family, or but mostly it's just the homesteading and kind of that country lifestyle kind of content.
How do you have some property?
So we live in town. The property that we bought is about a third of an acre. So it's a lot more land than I thought we were going to be able to get for our first house. But it's not like it's just yard. And so we're very slowly working on getting a garden. We're going to put garden fencing in this year and hopefully be able to plant at least something. And we're just not sure how long we're going to be in this house. And so it's been hard to decide what to spend money on and what to just do as slowly as we have to do it ourselves. But we do have enough land to at least do a garden and hopefully some chickens, but we'll see.
All right. And do you watch much television or other streaming services? And if so, what kind of things do you enjoy there?
I really don't. I mean, I used to watch like Netflix or Hulu or something, just like I like binge a show over a few weeks or something. But I just don't have time.
Yeah.
Like I need those max hour and a half long YouTube videos that I can just stop and start and stop and start.
Yeah.
And like I can't follow a TV show anymore. So I haven't watched anything for probably over a year.
Yeah.
Other than YouTube.
We got rid of Netflix and Spectrum, so cable, and we might still have a Hulu subscription. I don't know why, because we don't watch it. I don't watch it. We do have Amazon Prime, and I go through some little phases where I'll binge something on Amazon Prime. I've got my favorite shows, or I'll be in a mood for a sci-fi movie or something, and I'll go to Amazon Prime for that. But even that kind of stuff, a lot of those things are even on YouTube. I spend 90% of the time I'm watching or listening to something that's on YouTube. So ultimately, what are your goals for the channel, or where do you see the channel? Where do you want to see the channel in like a year from now? Where would you like to see it?
So I have been pretty careful about setting goals for the channel because, like I said, my biggest thing is the accountability. That's what really gets me going for YouTube. And so my big goal is I want to post 2 videos a week for this entire year. And I'm hoping that if I do that, then maybe next year we can move up to 3 videos a week. And I want the channel to encourage me to finish our garden fencing this year and actually plant something in our front yard where the dogs won't kill it. And do the eating thing. I want to be successful enough that I don't feel like I just have to quit YouTube because nobody ever watches anything. But we've already come up to 200 subscribers, and so I'm like, okay, that's plenty for me. Like, as long as we've got like 200 people watching our videos every week, then I'll keep making them.
Well, it's good to pace yourself. I mean, I know some content creators that burned out relatively quickly just by feeling like they had to do something every day, or like live stream every day, or a video every day. And I did take on, I think, vidIQ or Think Media. I think it was Sean Cannell at Think Media had a challenge. Well, they worked together, Sean and vidIQ, to upload a video every day for 30 days. And I did that. And I can tell you that, wow, yeah, it grew the channel. We got a lot of new subscribers, and mine was a combination of shorts and live streams and longer content videos. And it did have the impact I wanted. But this was like, a year and a half into our channel. We're coming up on 2 years as a channel, the beginning of March. So I had gotten a pretty good rhythm already, and just always had I always have like a running list of content ideas, and then because we raise animals and the animals are such a focus on the channel, a lot of the content creates itself for me. So it might have been a little easier for me to do that, but I did still have to really buckle down, because editing alone, I mean, I can spend as much time just looking for music to put into my video as I spent recording it and editing the video itself. So I did have to, again, just really commit to that. And I don't think I've done another month besides that one where I really did post something every day for 30 days. There's my friend Adam, who's got, I don't know if you can see the comments. Can you see
the ones that you pop up
on the screen?
Yes, the ones you pop up on the screen I can see. I don't have the
before you came
open.
on, I was just sharing that Adam is a YouTube friend of mine, like I think a real life friend of mine, who knows my X-Files, connection. And look, so here's Lee backing you up there, Adam. And I think they're just bringing that up because I talked about how I don't watch a whole lot of TV. But yes, X-Files is something that I will binge on Amazon Prime. Do you have some video ideas or projects in the works? Do you have footage that you just haven't edited for upload yet? Or I know you talked about fencing, so I know there's some property enhancements and garden preparation stuff, obviously, that you're going to be filming. But beyond that, do you have ideas? Do you have a running series idea you want to do? The Pantry Challenge seems like it's kind of been a series on the channel. So
so the Pantry Challenge is a series, and then because we share every Wednesday, we share the meals that we had so far we've only been doing dinner because I did 1 week of filming every single meal, and that was just too much. And so that's a series. And then after that's over, because we're only doing that through February, I am planning to once a month do a video either of new foods that I try, kind of like a new foods video, or maybe a day of meals video. I do want to keep filming what we eat because I think that's an important thing for my accountability. I do want to make a series of videos out of our garden, like creating our garden, the fencing, building the beds, planting, planning, all those things. It's been too cold here for me to do any of that work yet, so it hasn't been filmed. And then I do a lot of like little food preservation projects, like, oh, I have this that's about to go bad, so I'm going to do this. Or I buy meat in bulk and then separate it out to freeze it. And those are things that I don't like, they aren't enough to make a whole video on just that. And I have filmed some of those things. And so I'm hoping to be able to pull kind of all of those together into one video and maybe do that on I don't know, a quarterly basis or something. What little projects have I done this year?
Right. Mm-hmm. Do you see yourself hosting a collaboration in the near future?
Not in the near future. No.
Okay. But is it something you think you want to do at some point?
Yeah, I think that I think hosting collaborations, I think you have to have a really good idea that you're actually passionate about helping other people to do. And I think it's really good for community, and I really want to build community, but I don't have any specific ideas that are different from what's already being done. Like the Pantry Challenge, I love the Pantry Challenge, and I will be doing it every year. But I like Jessica's challenge, and so I want to do her challenge. I don't want to host a different one.
Right.
And then there's a couple other challenges that I've seen on YouTube that I've considered doing, but eventually I'm hoping that I will have enough of a channel identity that I'll feel like, oh, okay, so this is big, something we focus on a lot, and so I'm going to do a challenge about this.
Sweet. Nice. If you could collaborate with any YouTuber, I know you say you like, what is the name of her channel?
Three Rivers Homestead.
So I know you say you like that channel, but is there another YouTuber out there? If you could collaborate with any YouTuber on any topic you could pick and make it happen, who would it be? If there is a person,
it would definitely be Becky from Acre Homestead. Okay. She's a homesteader, and she's my very favorite YouTuber. And she lives up in Washington State, and she gardens, and they just bought a new house, and they're building their own brand new garden space and everything. And I'm really excited to watch that. And so, like, if I could, I would do a collaboration on building her giant garden and me building my little garden. So yeah, she's definitely my favorite.
All right. And then Dr. Lund is asking if you've done any shorts yet, and is suggesting that those may be good ideas for the short clips.
That's actually a really good idea. I've never done a short, and my husband is constantly bugging me, hey, we should do shorts. We should do shorts. And I'm like, I don't know anything about shorts. I don't ever watch shorts, but that's a good idea. I like that. Thank you, Dr. Lund. And let me tell you
again, another great channel grower. I've had a couple of shorts. One that was related to the dogs. I don't remember which one. I want to say that within like 20 minutes of uploading, it had like, oh my gosh, how many views did that get? Like 5,000 views or something. And I got like 20 subscribers out of it.
Wow.
Which is only interesting to me, because then there can be videos that are, 20 minutes long, and I spent 2 weeks compiling the clips and then editing and transitions and special effects and putting music and narrating and captioning. Oh, and it gets 38 views and I don't get any new subscribers out of it. So sometimes there's no rhyme or reason to it, but there really is a place for shorts. And I think a well-balanced channel takes advantage of what they can gain by having at least shorts sprinkled in every now and then. I'd love, you could maybe just do a short a week. And sometimes, you can take clips. Now you can do the remix. I don't really like the new remix, y'all, because it used to be I could take clips from an older video that was at least 60 seconds long and I could make a short out of it. And YouTube then puts a little link on the screen where people can click to see the whole video. But the last couple of times I tried that, now it only allows for 15 seconds of that original video. And it's hard for me to find any one part of a video that gives anybody a good enough idea about what the video is like. So you might have some fun with shorts. You just can't ever predict what's going to take off and what's going to just sit and go nowhere. But at least it's more content. And I just firmly believe that the more consistently and frequently you put some kind of content on your channel, the more times you're going to come up in those YouTube recommendations and the more people are going to stumble upon you that, may not find you as quickly without those little shorts here and there and little pieces of content here and there. So that is a great suggestion, Dr. Lund. So I know you mentioned dogs when you talked about keeping dogs out of the garden. So what pets, how many dogs do you have? Do you have other pets? What kind of dogs are they?
We just have 2 dogs. We don't have any other pets. We have a golden doodle, a miniature golden doodle. She's about 30 pounds, so she's not a big golden doodle. And she is 4 years old, and she's mostly an inside dog because she gets out of the yard despite all of the work we've done fencing it. And then we have an Australian healer, and he is an outside dog because he is 11 or 12 years old, and he started to lose control of his bladder, but he's really healthy otherwise. Just when he gets too excited, he just completely loses his bladder. And so we have like a super insulated dog house for him and everything, but because we didn't want to lose him, I just can't have him peeing in the house. So he is our outside dog, and he's really awesome.
Did you grow up farming or gardening or doing homestead type things? Either of you?
No. So my husband is from LA, like LA proper is where he was born and raised. And so he's never done any of this stuff. My dad was in the military, and so we moved a lot and didn't really, like, we lived on a farm at one posting, like we rented a farm that wasn't like in use anymore. Well, I guess they used it as a pig transfer station. So we saw pigs a lot. And then we lived right after my dad got out of the military, we lived in Idaho for about 4 years, and we lived on 13 acres. And we had alfalfa fields, and we sort of watered, we moved pipe to water those. And my mom did a garden there. But I mean, I wasn't even in high school yet. And so I was still kind of in that phase of like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to help with this. And now I'm like, wait, why didn't I really get into that?
Yeah. Oh, hindsight. You know what they say about hindsight.
Yeah.
Do you like to travel? Have you traveled much, and where was your favorite place?
So I've traveled a fair bit, mostly because my dad was in the military. So that pig farm we lived on was in Germany. And so as a child, young child, we went all over Europe. I've been to a lot of different places in the United States because my mom likes to road trip. And so we've done a lot of that. I went to Belize one summer in college with not exactly a mission group, but with like an international aid organization. I spent a summer in Belize. And then my sister and I went back there a few years later on vacation. I don't mind traveling, but I'm definitely a homebody. So I'm kind of
harder
like
when you have a little one. I know it's harder when you have a young child.
Yeah.
Although I was really impressed, my son and daughter-in-law took how old was Emmy? She was about 16 months old, maybe 18 months old, and they spent about 10 days in Europe. And they went to
Wow.
Italy and France and Belgium, and they had a great time. She had a great time, and they had done a lot of traveling before she was born. Now they've got 2 more kids now, so it's a little harder to get out. And that was part of the reasoning for taking her, is because they knew then once they had a second baby, it was going to be more challenging to make a trip. But I just remember thinking, wow, I don't know if I would have wanted to try that with any of my kids when they were that little, but it went great. She did great, and she's a seasoned traveler already now.
Yeah. That sounds really fun.
Do you consider yourself more of an introvert or an extrovert?
I am an extroverted introvert. So I recharge alone and without people.
Okay.
And I don't make close friends easily. But I am really good at being friendly, and I can kind of lead a room if I need to, assuming it's not hostile. And I can just walk up and talk to people. Like, I don't have a problem with that. But I definitely need my alone time to charge. Like, I could not see anyone but my husband and my son for a month and be perfectly happy.
And so I know you said your dad was in the military, so you traveled because of that, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you feel like that is a factor in you being able to approach people and interact right away? And because I know my dad was in the military. He was out before I was born, but I guess because he moved around a lot, we just still seemed to move around a lot when I was young. And
we
so
did
I was
too.
the new kid. I was the new kid over and over in all these new places. And so I had to learn to be the initiator.
Outgoing.
You know,
Yes.
I had to be, I didn't want to be labeled the new kid and I don't know, somehow be looked down on or not paid attention to because people didn't know me. So I just introduced myself. I just made my own friends. And I think that's why, because we just moved around so much, I just naturally developed that. And do you have siblings?
Yeah, so I have a younger sister and a younger brother.
So
my
you're
sister
an oldest
lives.
as well. Yeah.
Yes, I am the oldest.
I think those
my
things
sister
all work together.
Yeah. My sister's much more of an extrovert than I am. She's an introverted extrovert.
Okay. Okay. And what's the difference in age? How far apart are you from your siblings?
We're each about 2 years apart. I think my sister and I are a year and 10 months, and she and my brother are a little bit more.
Okay. That's still close by a lot of people's standards. Are you on other social media? So not necessarily you personally, but is Palma Pioneer Pantry on other social media?
So we do have an Instagram account, and I post our videos, and every once in a while I'll post to stories. But I have been focusing on the YouTube and just haven't had the energy to do much with Instagram. So it's mostly just, hey, we posted our video. If you haven't seen it yet, go see it.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of forget that we have an Instagram, and I could be doing that same thing, and I just don't remember to do it. So I might have to get a little more active there as well. Do you consider yourself more artistic or more analytical?
Oh, I am definitely analytical.
Okay.
You talked about.
Oh, go ahead.
No. So you talked about remembering to post on Instagram, and the only reason I remember to post on Instagram is because I made a template for all the things that have to be done in order to get a YouTube video out, and I put posts on Instagram on that list. And so every video that I start, as soon as I start filming a video, I make a template for it. I copy that template, and on Wednesdays and Saturdays, I look down my template and I'm like, okay, I did this, I did that. Oh, gotta post the YouTube, gotta post the Instagram.
Yeah, and I used to be a lot more organized and analytical, I guess, than I've become, which is really interesting to me. I was always the tomboy bookworm kid growing up, loved math and science and history and, but I have a very musical side. And it seems like because now I'm full-time creating on YouTube, it's just really triggered more of my artistic. I just want to create. I just want it to be about fun, and I don't feel quite as analytical. But the drawback there is that, yeah, then I forget, oh gosh, I could have posted that link on Instagram, or I just forget to do it. So I might have to try that and see if maybe that spreads the message a little bit faster.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I don't remember everything. Like, I drafted a post to my community page to tell them, hey, I'm doing this live stream with Rich and Kat, and never posted it because I got it most of the way done and couldn't finish it when I was there. And then I was getting ready to come on here and I was like, oh yeah, I never finished that, did I?
Well, but now that once we wrap the show up, so you know that these live streams move into video on demand after they are finished. So you can still go back and then say, hey, check out my interview on RichKatRanch.
Yeah.
And lead your people to come over and learn some of these things about you that maybe you haven't covered at your channel, and maybe you wouldn't have covered on your channel. Because I just think that connection is what makes people grow, makes channels grow. If people can connect with you on some level, obviously some people connect just because they also appreciate whatever it is you're doing on your channel. For homesteaders, they appreciate homesteading. For animal care people, they appreciate animal care people. But if they learn something about you too, that you're from a military family, oh, there's a connection. There can be some people that think, oh gosh, yeah, I want to support her. I support military families and I appreciate their service. And yes, I appreciate your dad's service. Please pass that along. And just so the more they know the creator, it just opens the door for more connections. And I think even deeper connections, because there's lots of homesteading channels. There's lots of animal channels. There's lots of music channels. There's lots of, there's the competition is fierce. And so if you can offer something to people that they won't find at those other channels, then again, it's a win-win. And it's just a great path to realizing your goals and growing and being successful on this platform. So my last question, and then I'll let you ask questions if you have questions for me or someone in the chat. If you saw a comment or, something, I do want to remind everyone in the chat. I think you've all been here before, but check out each other's channels. There's so much wonderful stuff to offset the negative stuff in the news and, the uncertainties in the world right now. And there's so much that is healing and enjoyable and therapeutic and just old-fashioned fun right here on YouTube. So much of that is represented right here in my chat. So I just encourage you guys to at least, Serena Marie, to at least pick a couple of channels that maybe you haven't visited yet that you see in the chat today, and go spend some time at their channels and show some love, like, comment, subscribe, share. We all grow together. There's room at the top for everybody. But my final question for you, I always end my interviews this way. You're stranded on an island. What 3 things do you want to have with you? There's no limits on what they are.
Oh boy. I'm stranded on an island. What do I want to have with me? My husband, a boat, and a Walmart.
Yeah, that's a first. Yes, that's a first. That would solve a lot of problems right there.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. All right. I love it.
I figure if we've got a boat, even if it's broken, my husband can probably fix it.
Okay.
And if we have a Walmart, then we can survive until we figure out how to drive the boat.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, part of what you need to fix it, you can find at the Walmart.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So do you have questions? You have questions for me? Do you have questions for anyone in the chat?
So I actually have not had the chat up because I wanted to be able to see your face.
Okay.
And I was trying to figure out how to do this on my computer, and I couldn't. So I'm on my phone. I'm a little tiny screen.
Okay.
But I just wonder, like, when did you decide to try to, like, interview other YouTubers? Like, why did you decide to do that?
before we did our first live stream, so our first live stream was our monetization celebration. I had done live streams from like the duck and goose pen and the paddock, and just featuring the animals, because we are primarily an animals channel. That's what we're at Social Blade. Even I think that's how they categorized us. It's not something you get to pick yourself at Social Blade. And I felt like a big factor in us reaching our goals and becoming monetized was because there was a handful of channels that had really supported us. I had been, in some live streams, not necessarily where like they send out an invitation, can you want to be a guest on my show, but just being in chats in other people's live streams where they would let me come up on screen and talk a little bit about my channel and myself. And I saw the impact. I know how it made me feel to be shouted out that way. And I thought, I want to do that. I want to, oh, she just knocked my green screen down. I want to share people. I want to share other content creators the way I feel like some people shared me and our channel, and celebrate right along with them. I want to feel like maybe I played at least a small part in the beginning in just getting their name out there, getting their message out there, sharing channel links and introducing them to new people. Again, I think it's easy to sort of come into this journey feeling like, oh, I'll never be Mr. Beast, which that's realistic. That's the 1%. So that's not realistic to even think of that. I don't even dream about it. I have a good imagination, but that's not even something I imagine that I'm ever going to be a big channel like that. I have what I think are very realistic goals. But it's so easy to come into it and feel like it's all just competition, that you're always competing with another channel, that you're competing with every other homesteading channel. You're competing with every other animal channel or whatever your niche is. And I don't think that's how it works at all. And I think a lot of even the great big channels will tell you part of how they got big was other people sharing them, other people talking about their channel, and just the people that they met through YouTube and outside of YouTube. And so I knew that once again, the monetization was just sort of the catalyst to do a live stream where it was me on the screen. I'd done the other live streams with the animals. I had been appearing in the videos more consistently before then. But initially, I didn't really want to be the focus of the channel at all. And so I didn't appear on screen very often. And so I knew that after that live stream, because we weren't going to be spinning for prizes every week, we can't afford that. So I didn't know what else. What else would I fill a live stream with? And I just had already done the research. I had already seen the evidence with other channels that live streaming, podcasts, things like that, where you can interact real time with people, you can take questions, you can, specifically tailor the experience to who's in the chat or who's on the screen with you, is just one of the most effective ways to connect with your audience and grow a channel. So I thought, okay, so what would I do? I like to talk, so it's not about not liking to talk, and I'm not shy, so it wasn't about being uncomfortable being on camera. But I thought, I surely can't see it being sustainable that I would get on the screen every Friday, even for just a half an hour, and just talk about myself or talk about my channel, or that's not what I wanted the focus to be. So I thought, nope, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring up people that I've met that I want to, again, partner with, just to put their names out there. No obligation, no pressure. I just think there are a lot of great channels with quality content that have super smart and talented and kind and generous people behind them that just nobody knows about. They just don't even know they're out there. And I mean, that's just me. You know, I was in healthcare for a long time. I just have a big part of me that likes to minister to people, that likes to support and coach, and I get a lot from that. There's gratification for me for just feeling like I helped somebody. And even if it's just that I helped somebody get comfortable being on screen. I've had so many people tell me before they're interviewed, oh, I'm so nervous. Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. I just don't know what to think. And then they get on the show and they tell me afterward, oh my gosh, that was no big deal at all. That was just no big deal at all. We were just talking. It really was fun, and that feeds me. That gratifies me. I just feel like that's part of my purpose here. Our channel was created to educate and encourage, and I might not be the one educating by having a guest on the show to be interviewed, but I do think it's encouraging for a lot of people. I hope it's encouraging for the person being interviewed. I hope it's encouraging for the audience to see, you know, how exciting it is for me to share new channels and new content. Gucci. Hey, Richard. I think Richard must have left to go feed our clients' horses, and Gucci is chewing on my green screen. So that it was just a no-brainer. I just really wanted to pay it back what I felt like a lot of people had done for me as we were trying to grow our channel and get our name out there. And the homesteading community, maybe it's a little more competitive in other niches, but my experience, the homesteading community is the most welcoming, supportive, loving, and encouraging group of people and channels on YouTube. It's never felt like a competition. And so it's exciting for me every time a channel that I follow, you know, hits a milestone. It's exciting to me, whether or not that I, you know, have ever had them on the show or seen them in my own chat. If it's someone that I support, I'm thrilled to see them successful. I'm just thrilled. And so I want to be a part of that. When I do my little channel stats where we go through subscriber counts and stuff, that is really exciting to me. I am very numbers driven, so there's still that little bit of me that's very analytical. And I know that's not the most important metric. Subscriber count is not the most important metric, and it doesn't necessarily indicate quality content or a quality person behind the channel, because there's a lot of garbage. There's still a lot of garbage. There's a lot of stuff that I don't even understand why it appeals to some people on YouTube. Some stuff that I don't even understand why YouTube allows it to be on the platform. And yet there's millions of people that watch the videos and they have millions of subscribers. And so, you know, chacun a son goût, to each his own. And I just want to offer a place where people that have good things to share, healthy things to share, enjoyable things, can come in and share it and introduce themselves and make people aware of who they are and what they're doing. It just, you know, there's a selfish element there, I guess, because that is just very gratifying for me to share new people that I meet that I enjoy. And again, down the road, think that maybe in some small way I helped. I contributed to, you know, either their motivation. I know Vicki just made a comment about when I had her on the show, it motivated her. It motivated her then to work more on her channel, because I think when I first met her, she had a small channel in that not a whole lot of content, much like yours. And I encouraged her, oh my gosh, yeah, consistent content is key. And the content you're sharing, there's so much you can do with it. And people eat this stuff up. It's a very popular niche. And I'm loving seeing now what she's doing with it. It's just, you know, she's on a roll now. And I've always been kind of a cheerleader type person. I'm a prepared childbirth educator and spent many hours coaching families through labor and delivery. They just didn't think they could survive if I wasn't with them. And that was, again, very gratifying for me, just to feel like I played a part and that I helped, that I could encourage and motivate and support and love people through whatever it was they were working on. And this fills that need now because I don't teach anymore and haven't assisted with any deliveries in a long time. Well, not since I delivered my granddaughter. Haven't had an opportunity to spend a lot of time in a delivery room or labor room now. So guess that, I hope that answers the question.
Yes, it does.
I'll just be honest now. I do not think that daily live streams are sustainable. I don't think there are a lot of channels that's really all they do. Like every day they do a live stream or every week, just every week. That's all they do is a live stream, and they don't put up shorts. They don't put up long content videos. I don't think it's sustainable. It takes a lot of energy. It is a very, again, because this is exciting and this is fun for me, it takes a lot of energy. And I want it to be enjoyable for everyone on the show. So I stress out about like the sound issues I had a couple of weeks ago. And so I don't think it's sustainable. And again, I have seen channels that was the focus and they do that for a period of time and then they disappear, like take their channels down even. And, you know, who knows, there could be other things behind it, but if there's already something happening in their lives that's stressful or pulling them down in some way, that's a lot of pressure then to try to turn on the charm and get on YouTube every day and do a live stream in front of people. So tips for any of you out there. I think live streams are the best way to connect, the best way to grow a channel and bond with your subscribers, but it is not something I think everybody can manage long-term and more frequently than I think what I'm doing now. This once a week thing seems to work great for me. But again, the question, so there's Adam. What was the question again? What made me want to have people on to be interviewed? And just that. I want to share what I know too. So I want to share some of the lessons I've learned, you know, as a YouTuber, some of the stuff that has worked best for me and stuff that I've seen as I study other channels that are growing and whether they're my same niche or not, because a lot of the concepts cross over into all kinds of genres. There are things I see that, you know, the true crime channels I watch that they're doing that I incorporate here, or that I want to incorporate here. The music channels, just a lot of the concepts are the same, even if the content is different. But I love my animals. I like people. Some days I think I like the animals more than I like the people, but I do appreciate and treasure when I meet, quote unquote, someone here on YouTube that just really has some good things to offer. I want to shout them out.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like the channels that I watch are people that I like them. I mean, as much of them as I know that we don't see people's full lives on YouTube, but most of the people I watch, they talk about the other parts of their lives that aren't so pretty. They only show the pretty parts, but that's because that's what we want to see. But they talk about the other parts. And I've really enjoyed, as you said, meeting quote unquote people on YouTube. And I think that what you're doing is just really awesome. And it's been really good to meet you in a more, hey, we actually talked to each other kind of way.
Oh yeah. Again, it's very gratifying, you know, and that's why I encourage other people that want to grow a channel to do live streams. To really, like, you can bring people on screen with you, or you can, again, take questions from the chat. So you're still communicating real time. It's like talking together. And, you know, it's no different than if you have a pen pal. You've had this pen pal for years, but you've never met him in person. And then you meet him in person, whether it's a video call or you meet somewhere, you know, for coffee. And it's exciting, and it just makes it more real. And there's a greater connection and a greater bond there. And again, if people like you, they will support you. but they can't like you if they don't know you. And I also don't, I'm not going to say I don't like it when people only share the good, because that's their prerogative. And some people need to come to YouTube, and maybe they have struggles going on in their lives. They only need to come and see good things. They need to be reminded of what it can be like, and, you know, have something to work toward or hope for. And so there's a place for that. But I still think the connections are deeper when you just share more of yourself. What is your life really like? And, you know, it's more realistic. It gives people, you know, again, just a better connection if they feel like they really know you, good and bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, I thank you for being here today. This was a treat for me. I wish obviously the video had been working, but we can see you. We all could see you through it. Just
not
couldn't,
particularly flattering pose,
still
but
yeah, no, it was a great picture. It was a great picture of you. So it's going to all work out in the end. And that's just the nature of technology and live streaming and,
yep.
you know, wireless stuff, or however this whole internet thing works. We just got to take what we get. Sometimes there's not a whole lot we can do about it. So I appreciate you sticking with me, even though maybe on your end you were having some kind of a snag going on. Audio is great. So that's what's most important, because you were able to interact and answer the questions and share with us. So I thank you for that. Hello, Beverly Moffett. How are you? So any more questions? Any other things you want to leave for the audience? Any like one takeaway you want people to know about you before you go?
Just thank you. I mean, thank you for having me on, and thank you for all of the kind comments. And I'm going to go back and look through the comments a little bit more closely so I can see things and get to know people. And just, even if you don't want to watch my content, and that's fine, because like Kat said, not everything is for everyone. I want to, there were a couple of comments just recently on being real. I really want to be real, and I want to share my life and my struggles and my successes with people. And thank you for having me on to be able to do that with more people and different people, and to hear other people who are also doing that. Because it's just been really great. So thank you.
You're welcome. And you'll be on my spreadsheet now. So see, we'll be looking at your subscriber counts every Friday and talking about your channel and just reminding people to check you out.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you. You can hang around if you want. I'll let you go backstage, or if you need to leave, you can leave. All I'm going to do to wrap up the show is do my channel of the week. I spin for a channel of the week every Friday. And just to put another name out there that people may not be familiar with already, but I'm looking at the comments in the chat. So it usually takes YouTube about 24 hours to generate the comments. You can watch the video as soon as the stream ends, but the comments don't generate until about 24 hours later. So if you'd like, sometime this weekend, go back and watch, and you can just see all of the sweet comments that are in the chat for you today. So you've got a lot of support here already today. And again, I'll just be excited to watch you grow. I'm going to be celebrating right along with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to take you off screen, and then I'm going to spin for my channel of the week.
All right. Bye.
Thanks, Marin. All right. Let me pull up my channel of the week wheel. Then I'll turn you guys loose. I have a different mode, I guess you call it. Here, I have the dark mode on my screen because I don't have like any kind of professional lighting, anything that's remotely professional. Oh, did I pull up the right thing? Yes. And so I'm trying to cut down on lighting around me when I'm streaming that distracts from what I want you to see. I'm already at a disadvantage because I wear glasses, and I do have to have some light, obviously. And so I haven't figured out a way to not have a reflection in my glasses at times. I darken the screen in front of me as much as I can. But I have to have some light to see what's in front of me. And welcome, Seth the Welsh, our new channel member. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for that. Thank you, thank you. We do have channel memberships, several levels, not expensive. It's just a fun way to support what we do here at the channel. It means a lot to us that you're here, that you're in the chat, that you watch our videos, and that you share us out. It'll mean a lot to me for you guys to watch next Monday's This and That with Rich and Kat. I think it will be fun. Give us some grace as we just work out what kind of content really works. I am thrilled that Richard is doing those shows with me. A lot of you know that for a long time, I have said, I wish Richard would be on live streams with me, or I wish Richard would be more involved in the videos. So now it's happening. He's in these videos. He will be in all of the Rich and Kat, the This and That with Rich and Kat videos with me, because it's a show about us. It's just a show about us together, interacting, teaching you things, or showing you things, or playing games, or and we're having fun with it. And the first one, again, I think it was a hoot. The chat for that premiere was really encouraging to me. I really feel like people were enjoying it as much as we enjoyed doing it. On to Channel of the Will you? There's an eagle nest here in Webster, Texas. They don't have a YouTube channel, and I don't think they're live streaming yet. They're out in the boonies. This family that has this eagle nest that's been in their backyard for like 8-10 years. And they're supposed to have been getting high-speed internet, but I don't know that that's happened yet. I haven't seen a live stream yet for them, but be prayerful. One of the little eaglets of the 2 eaglets that were born at that nest this year, hatched at that nest, was really struggling. He was having some thriving issues. Apparently has some sort of leg and or feet abnormalities based on what things were looking like on the camera. So the owners of the property that they do have a video camera. So they, just like we have a live stream here that we can record stuff and share with you, they do have a camera. So they share clips on his Facebook page. But the little eaglet, the owners got the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service involved, just based on concerns about this little eaglet. So he was taken from the nest yesterday, I think. So he's with a wild care medical rehab facility. He was very underweight, very dehydrated. So they're doing supportive care for that, fluids and foods. And then they will make some assessments once he's a little stronger about what might be going on with his legs and feet. His name is Boots. His sister or brother's name in the nest is Ringo. This is the Webster, Texas Eagles. Again, you can find Facebook pages for them. Paul White is the property owner that shares the videos and images with us. And so I just always worry about these little eaglets. Odds are never good for animals in the wild anyway. And a high percentage of eaglets that hatch. It's not that it's a surprise, but I know you guys know, if you've been here a little while, you know how these mean to me and just wildlife in general. So that's on my mind. That's been on my heart these last couple of days. Well, just this week, since it was apparent that something was not going well for this little eaglet. But on another fun note, I have submitted an application along with 2 videos to become a storyteller for Friends of Big Bear Valley. So that's my second favorite eagle nest out in California, San Bernardino Forest. They posted that they were looking for employees. And among the employees they're looking for, so they were looking for, like people to teach classes there in California or online, and moderators for their chats and things like that. But one of the positions that was open is a storyteller. So this would be someone that, captures the screen, captures the video on screen from the live stream, capture things that happen, and then write a story about it that combines teaching people about eagles along with making it funny, like the eagles are communicating with each other, or they're fighting over where to put a stick in the nest. And so if you follow any of the eagle channels, you'll know what I'm talking about, because a lot of the big channels, or a lot of the nests with a lot of followers, have people that have those jobs. So I would love to do that. I just felt like that's right up my alley. But they're going to be reviewing applications and looking at the video submissions and making a decision. So I'll hopefully be coming back to tell you that I have joined the Friends of Big Bear Valley as a storyteller here on YouTube. It doesn't mean that content will be on my channel. I'll be creating that content for them. But obviously then I'll be sharing links anytime I've got a video going up. So cross your fingers for that. And I'll keep you posted. I always say a little prayer for all these little eaglets that I like watching, but those are not on this wheel. That's how all that got started. I don't put all those eagle nests on the wheel, but I like you guys to know that I spend a lot of time watching them. So let me let's click here. See who we get for channel of the week. The Gardner brothers. Oh my gosh. So if you guys don't know about the Gardner brothers, this is, oh, that was kind of laggy. This is Irish brothers. They're Irish dancers. They're super cute. I don't know like a lot about them personally, but they do that river dance dancing, and they're like world famous. They have lots of shorts, so you can introduce yourself to them by going to Gardner Brothers. They do a lot of fun stuff with, like they have a Michael Jackson short. I think it's Smooth Criminal, maybe, is the song they do. But they do the Irish step dancing, like the river dance to it. And it's super cool. It's super fun. Again, they're super cute. And I sent them an email probably the end of November to see if they might want to be on the show. We'll see how that goes. Again, I'm not going to limit myself. Worst thing that can happen is nothing will happen. And then I'm right where I would be if I hadn't sent an email at all. And it's not like they could come on the show and dance. I don't guess. Maybe they could. I'm sure they could set that up. But I just thought, oh my gosh, I would love to ask them some of these questions. I would love to know more about them as people because I only know them through the dancing that they share. But it's still exciting to me. It's maybe the only dance channel that I subscribe to. That's not usually a thing for me, but I just really like them and I like their content. So that's our channel of the week. Not a whole lot going on here at RichKatRanch. Here, our primary client, our primary RichKatRanch client with the horses. She has had dogs in the past too that we've also cared for. Both of the dogs have passed away, but she's still got 2 horses. She actually had 2 horses. One of those passed away. A couple of years later, she got a second horse as a companion for the first one. He's getting on up there in years now, but they're doing well. So again, of all weeks, it's been so crazy cold and frozen over and uncomfortable and dangerous here. But this was our week to tend to her animals. So we started on Monday. Monday was the 30th. And then they will be back home on the 7th. What's the 7th? Tuesday next week. So fortunately, she lives close. It's not even a quarter mile, I don't think, as the crow flies, if we could fly over there. But Richard has been home working from home. We're skilled at driving on this kind of stuff than I am. So he's been getting up every morning and driving over every afternoon to tend to them. He even goes, y'all, he's so sweet about the animals. I'm sure he thinks the same thing about me, that sometimes I think, gosh, I wish he worried as much about what I needed or wanted as he's worrying about the cats right now. But he has even been going over, like, he's not a night person, y'all. He's usually in bed by 8 o'clock because he gets up early. He gets up at 5 o'clock to feed our horses and then go over and feed her horses. But he even has been going over there every night, like at 8:30, 8:45, to put out more hay for them. I've shared with you guys before, equines thermoregulate by way of digesting their food. So they have to have forage. They have to have grass, or if there's not grass or it's been here where they can't even get to the grass there, then they have to have hay. So we go through a lot of hay when it's cold like this And the same thing with her horses. So he's been going over his day to make sure that they've got hay, and if their water's frozen, he has to break up the top of the water. They do have one big heated bucket in the barn, but their big trough outside doesn't have a heater, and so it freezes over, and he has to go out there and break that up. So kudos to Richard. He's really been making up for those couple of weeks where he was completely out and I had to take care of everyone, including this client's horses, because we also were tending to her horses during part of the time that Richard was COVID. So he's made up for that and then some by getting out on these icy roads and taking care of Sport and Nakona while their family is away. So hello, Emily Thompson, and thank you for the precious compliment. Yes, I'm so happy that you're here. Is this the first time you've been in a live stream? I'm so tickled to see you here. And you see, sure. So go know Emily Thompson from Dino's channel, The Late Late Horror Show. It's been so gratifying to me to see these people that I meet in other chats at other channels that find my channel and come and pay us a visit. It's just about, this is the best part of YouTube. So that's what's been going on here. But I'm feeling good. I never got sick, knock on wood. Aside from, again, the allergy things and the scratchy throat that is typical for me this time of year anyway. I've had a couple of sinus headaches. I mean, stuff like that. But nothing else that's kept me down. The fatigue, that horrible fatigue that I had after about 8 or 10 days of Richard being down and doing all the chores and, getting up early and staying up late. And that's gone. I feel like that's gone. I don't want to jinx anything. I am staying on, vitamin C and vitamin D and zinc, and I'm cooking a lot. Again, we've been stuck at home this week, so I've cooked a lot. I feel like that's a lot healthier than some of what we do when we eat out or bring fast food home. So nothing else I can think of to share with you. Let me look at my little, I always have like a little cheat sheet thing for whenever live stream is coming up next. Let me just make sure I didn't put anything else on there that I wanted to be sure and tell you about. All right, so we did the predictions. We did the standard sizes of objects. We talked about eagle eyes. If you missed that at the beginning of the stream, go back and watch that first little part of the stream today, because I just am still like astounded to have learned that about eagles' eyeballs, about eagle eyes. I mean, they have great vision. I think everybody knows they have super good vision, but that's just really interesting to me. What can I say? I love nature. I love eagles. And as always, if you would like to be on the show, if you're a content creator, even if maybe you haven't started a channel yet and you're thinking about starting a channel, I'd still love to get you on and interview you. We'll talk about, what interests you and help you narrow down a niche and just let people know you ahead of time so that when you launch, you've already got a fan base waiting. That would be fun. Or, if you're brand new and you got some questions, maybe you've only put up a couple of videos. There's not a limit. There's not like a rule about who I can have on the show. I can have anyone I'd like to have on the show. So thank you to the people that have sent me messages and shared in chats during live streams before about some great channels that we can have on the show next week when Flannel Hill Farm is here as the second guest. That's how I met Brittany, because Ashley at CNC Farm shouted her out in the chat a few weeks ago. And again, I would never have known about that channel. What would make me think? I would either accidentally, stumble upon her channel. Odds are probably better I would have won the lottery before finding her channel, or someone shares her out. So if you have a channel that you like, again, I'm happy to send an email and see if they want to be on the show. If it's someone that you know and you can contact them too, you can also send them an email and say, hey, I told Kathy about you. She's going to be sending you an email. You need to be on her show. Because you guys can help me too, because I need to also have a nice stream of content to share with everyone and people to introduce you to, so that the shows stay fresh and interesting. But again, that's all for today. Be happy, be well, be safe, be blessed, stay warm if you're someplace where it's cold. Stay cool if you're someplace where it's warm. I know not everybody that visits here is having winter right now. Love to all. There's my friend Adam Sky. He's got to go. Buddy needs to take a break outside, getting a walk. But and again, one more reminder: our second episode of This and That with Rich and Kat will go up 7 p.m. on Monday night next week. I think that's the 6th of February. We're having so much fun with it, y'all. And you get to see Richard. You get to meet Richard. You will get to know him through those videos. I think that, I mean, that's so exciting to me. I want you guys to know him. I want you to see what it's like here behind the scenes when you guys aren't watching, what kind of stuff goes on here and how do we interact. And that's just really been a blessing to me. I'm so excited about this new show. And we're always taking suggestions for stuff you want to see us do. There's no limits. We can do anything on that other show. It doesn't have to be homestead or animal or gardening or related. The first episode had nothing to do with any of that. But hello, Nancy. I'm just about to sign off. But yes, love to all from Rich Cat Ranch. I so appreciate you being here. I so appreciate you partnering with me to help grow some worthy channels and show them the same kind of love and support that you show me here at the channel. Thank you for being patient when we have technical issues here. Thank you for being quality people. Go visit each other's channels. Check out the people that are in the chat. There's great stuff out there that will really brighten your days. And I'm thankful for all of you. I'll leave the chat open for a couple minutes after I take myself off screen so you guys can say your goodbyes to each other. And I will see you in the next video. Love you all.